Welcome to my channel. Sit back and listen to the best true crime stories. Let's go.
Murder online or how to make money from death. Those who have been reading my trudram sketches for a long time have probably already noticed that I try to select non-basic criminal stories to describe joint, couch investigations with forum members, which not only fall out of the general mass of, so to speak, traditional crimes, but also carry some meaning. In other words, it seems to me that it is rather futile to discuss, for example, a domestic situation where Vasya killed Petya drunkenly. You can't get any other thought out of such a crime than drunkenness is evil. But, if my eye somewhere on the internet unexpectedly clings to some non-standard case, which strangely touches strings in my soul, my hands are drawn to describe it. And now, out of the blue, and in a place where I had not expected to stumble upon something near criminal, I suddenly read about a very remarkable story, the so-called Monalisa Perez case. The crime is solved, and it is as if it carries no mystery. However, it is so revealingly convex, and literally screaming, that I could not get past it. Reading the facts of the case, it seems to have absorbed all the key moments of our time, becoming the quintessential example of today. A day in which human stupidity incomprehensibly coexists with scientific and technological progress, and the thirst for popularity and money does not clash with common sense. Strange as it may seem, this very case for some reason made me think that we are living in the era of global absurdity. After all, what else can you call a time in which such stories can happen? But, more to the point, I'm not going to sprinkle beads around trying to explain that the internet is a means of making money for many people today. Some of you are convinced of this on your own experience, and some of you know only by hearsay. I will only give a small explanation of how it happens directly in YouTube, because not everyone has an individual channel in this video hosting service, and for the most part only view the videos posted there. It may happen that you have a wrong idea about how this service is making money, and this point is worth a little clarification, because it has one of the decisive values in this case. And since my knowledge of this issue is not theoretical, but thoroughly practical, I will explain it in a simple way and without using any specialized terms. First, I will dispel some myths, which, as I have been convinced more than once, actively wander among people who are not burdened with work with IT sphere. Myth 1, if you post a video, its owner gets money for it. This is not true. No one pays anyone for posting videos on YouTube. Myth 2, YouTube pays the owner of a video when it gains a certain number of views, likes, comments, etc. Also not true. No matter how many views or positive ratings a video gets, no one pays anyone for it. So what do they make money on, you ask, and I'll answer, mostly on advertising. Remember, when you watch a video, you often see long blocks of ads at the bottom of the video, which you can close by clicking on the cross in the upper right corner. Only the owner of the video can run these ads, and that's only if YouTube approves it by making sure that the video is, first of all, copyrighted, secondly, complies with many different terms and conditions, and thirdly, doesn't break any laws. These ads are shown by various customers, paying their cost directly to YouTube, which in turn, minus commissions, subsequently pays the host of the video. Payment for the display of advertising can be charged in different ways, depends on the terms of the agreement with YouTube. Sometimes, it can be a payment per click. A click is when you click on this very advertisement, going to the advertiser's site. More often, for the duration of the display. This is if you do not immediately close this ad, and it hangs for some time on the video, movie, or program you are watching. But, as it is now clear, of course, the more posted video will view people, the more its owner will receive money for advertising. Of course, each owner of the channel is not only chasing this very money from the display of advertising. As has been the case since the emergence of men on our long-suffering planet, we all dream, the minimum, about recognizability, and the maximum about fame and popularity. Thanks to these tasty plushies, we assert ourselves, grow in our own eyes, sometimes prove something to ourselves, and, again, make money. That is, of course, we can say that in the end it all comes down to money again, but I would be careful to make such rash conclusions. Because sometimes I see that for some people fame and popularity become a true end in itself, and money is just a means to achieve it and a factor accompanying popularity. So, if before you didn't really understand why millions of people around the world, sometimes like real fanatics, post dozens and hundreds of videos on YouTube, now I hope this point has been clarified. So, like other people, YouTubers are driven by the desire to achieve two main goals: to become popular and to make more money. In fact, I don't think it's worth discussing or criticizing. After all, that's just the way human beings are. Getting angry and complaining about it is tantamount to accusing a wolf of liking to eat bunnies. But, again, at all times, regardless of nationalities, the state of scientific and technological progress and the economy of a particular country, each person chooses his own personal way to achieve fame and money. Sometimes I even think that this is the most important individual feature of each of us. For some people it is axiomatic to make a lot of effort, so to speak, according to the principle of water sharpens stone. Such people are trying to board fortune, rather not by quality and efficiency, but by quantity and persistence. Someone, on the contrary, believes that success can be achieved only by the process of realization of minimal, but extremely effective application of forces. There are also those who abhor the very idea of energetic work. Such people would prefer to take the results of their labors away from their true authors and owners. Such subjects are known to be either criminals or scoundrels. However, all three described approaches assume the presence of at least a minimum of intelligence, knowledge, and experience. But, there are also such individuals who, probably by nature, do not grab the stars from the sky, but, in spite of this, fall into a certain fashionable stream. Sometimes someone uses them for their own purposes, directing them in the right direction. An example of this is YouTuber Sasha Spilger. This girl, who has a rich and influential father, shoots and uploads on YouTube incredibly useless videos about how to properly wash your face, or showing herself in a bathtub filled to the top with chips. She probably can't teach her subscribers anything intelligent, but she has found, so to speak, her electorate, the same shallow and empty, living with the same lowly aspirations. Or, for example, another way. Probably, you have read more than once how in some country a fashionable trend is suddenly born, the so-called challenge, relay race, or flash mob, mass action, in which any citizen of the planet can become a participant. The purpose of these actions is declared anything from pouring water in public or tossing a plastic cup with buttocks, to creating selfies in the most life-threatening places, pushing off the floor, or complete removal of eyelashes and eyebrows from the face. Most people who learn about such challenges shrug their shoulders in bewilderment. They have no idea how and why anyone would want to perform such actions that look so silly and useless. But, believe me, each of these fashion trends always finds a lot of its apologists, striving a lot of effort to, for example, with the help of mammary glands to draw a heart on the sand, or show a bare butt in the most crowded place. In fact, what these people do, no matter how silly their actions look, in the end pursue the same goals: to become famous and earn money. And, of course, the opportunity to do this, first of all, provides the World Wide Web of the Internet. Well, who would be without creating spectacular photos and videos that can be shown to the whole world, would be such a creation? And since YouTube is the world's largest and most popular video storage site, all these mass actions are often promoted through it. In the same YouTube, there is another kind of participants, called video bloggers. Among them there are real intellectuals who share their knowledge of politics, history, or, for example, anthropology. They create news and analytical programs, teach foreign languages and the laws of business. From such video bloggers you can learn anything: how to repair an apartment or a car, how to cook dumplings or swaddle a baby. However, along with them in YouTube work, and video bloggers who have enough intelligence and imagination only for some vile libels, or round-the-clock filming of their daily lives. If earlier, before the advent of the internet, such subjects could not dream of fame, but now they have the opportunity to throw into the eye of the world their unremarkable life of an ordinary citizen, minute by minute sharing with the universe the process of brushing teeth or the departure of natural needs. What only tricks they do not resort to, in order to win the coveted audience of the same as they are, empty people who are not capable of anything useful. And just such a video blogger was 19-year-old Monalisa Perez from Minnesota, who together with her 22-year-old boyfriend Pedro Ruiz filmed for a YouTube channel with no meaningful videos. On them, the two Americans were talking about nothing. Monaliza was demonstrating on the full screen how to squeeze her pimply face, or she was kissing Pedro. They were constantly, and, by the way, usually unsuccessfully, trying to invent some kind of challenges, telling their subscribers how madly they loved each other, and, strangely enough, these outbursts of their scraps of thoughts found their viewers. On average, each such video about nothing had from 21,000 to 744,000 views. They didn't have a lot of subscribers, something around 21,000, but in February there was a small surge on their channel. On February 6, 2017, Monalisa announced to the entire YouTube that she and Pedro were expecting their second child. Yes, you heard right. These YouTubers poofters had already managed to co-parent one child by their youngest years. Their daughter was 3 years old at the time, and now they're determined to bring a second child into the world. Obviously, I don't understand what was so extraordinary about this news. Not only do all living beings on the planet have the ability to reproduce without seeing anything heroic in it, but to conceive a second child at the age of 19 is a clear sign of not a serious and thoughtful approach to this process, but clearly either an accidental hitch or a demonstration of complete irresponsibility of two people bringing into the world a little person to whom they have nothing to give. Come on, of course, the birth of a new life does not make it any less of a mystery. Subscribers Monalisa and Pedro rejoiced for them, wishing them prosperity and success, but the girl, probably not devoid of innate female practicality, began to think about the fact that the future child will need to somehow support. And since both she and her boyfriend did not express any enthusiasm to work hard for the good of their family and society, apparently, it seemed to them that YouTube could be a great means for a prosperous existence. 10 days later, on February 16, Monalisa would suddenly go on a Facebook rant full of despair that being an adult is hard. Especially when you have no idea what you want to do with your life. My goal is to become a successful person so I can provide for my children. And another half a month later, on April 3, she would again write. I am confident that I will accomplish all of my goals in the next few months. I will do what other people take a lifetime to do. To this message Pedro will respond to his beloved very meaningfully, put under it a bunch of emotionally supportive emoticons, and Monaliza will write him, baby, call me when you have new ideas on how we can reduce our bills and debts. This public correspondence between two immature people clearly demonstrates that their boat of life was regularly bumped against the shore of reality and grounded on the shoals of unfulfilled hopes. Pedro, who was making ends meet on the meager wages of a simple railroad track worker, obviously could not meet the couple's needs, and the arrival of another member of the family was looming, a tiny baby who needed so much. Apparently, at this point, the two young people begin to think that they should somehow very unconventional manifest on their YouTube channel to shake up the public, and a quick spurt to raise the number of subscribers, and accordingly, to earn on it. The couple will continue to upload new videos every 2 to 3 days, each time increasing the heat of passion in the videos. If on May 9, 2017, their next video will contain nothing special, then on June 1, Monalisa will show how she jokingly adds to her boyfriend's sandwich a large portion of the so-called Carolina Reaper, an incredibly hot chili pepper, which is listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the hottest pepper in the world for its taste qualities. This pepper variety, bred in 2013 by horticulturist Ed Curry, is so hot that very few people can eat it, and although there are even contests for eating it, actually eating Carolina Reaper can end up with serious problems for the stomach of an unprepared person. This is what happened to Pedro Ruiz. After swallowing a piece of this pepper with a sandwich, he spent 2 days with his stomach, suffering from cramps, indigestion, and inability to consume other food. However, though a little gaunt, pale, and thin, he scolded Monalisa in an artificial and forced manner. It was most likely that they had planned the action together, and Pedro had agreed to be the victim deliberately. On the morning of June 26, they announced to their subscribers that they intend to increase the number of their followers on YouTube to 300,000 in the near future, but they do not yet explain how. And by the evening of the same day they record a new video message, in which they say that they intend to make, probably the most dangerous video in the history of YouTube. Now it is difficult to find out for sure who the idea belonged to. Monaliza claims that the concept of performing the gunshot shown online came from Pedro. However, since this can no longer be ascertained from Pedro himself, it is not possible to verify her words. As far as I can judge from the videos I have seen, it seems that the girl was the leader of the couple, while Pedro obeyed her in everything, demonstrating his masculine superiority. I have not been able to find credible information about where exactly the young men managed to get a real weapon, a Desert Eagle semi-automatic large-caliber pistol, positioned by the manufacturer as a means of defense against wild animals and for hunting. Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter. It seems that before that, Pedro tested him at home, shooting at thick books. And let the readers and relatives of the dead guy forgive me, but such an action very clearly characterizes the stupidity of a young man. Reading books would have obviously brought him much more benefit, but, alas, fools need books as a stand for something, or, as in this case, to conduct test shots. Allegedly, by shooting the thick volumes, Pedro made sure that Desert Eagle bullets did not penetrate them, and therefore agreed to an action whereby he was to hold one of the books at chest level while Monaliza would shoot at him. And the whole thing was to be filmed by 2 cameras, and shown online on YouTube. It is incomprehensible why 2 not very smart, but already grown-up people, before doing such a stupid thing, did not even try to read something about the characteristics of the weapon they took, which in reality is considered very powerful. In fact, the 2-pound Desert Eagle pistol can come in a variety of calibers, from 9mm to 12.7mm. Monaliza and Pedro had just the largest, using powerful .50 Action Express, 12.73 2.6mm cartridges, making the Desert Eagle a competitive counterpart in areas where revolvers previously ruled indiscriminately. According to experts, the bullet, flying out of the barrel of this pistol, can reach a speed of 579 ms, and its muzzle energy is about 1,900 joules. In short, this gun is a very dangerous weapon, which in addition, has a high recoil and produces an incredibly noisy shot. It is said that firing a Desert Eagle with 50 Action Express ammunition indoors can damage a person's hearing aid, which is why its use is banned in many shooting ranges. But, the characters in this story apparently neglected to learn all of this data, and on June 27, 2017, the couple carried out their scheme without even thinking that they should find a safer place for their 3-year-old daughter. Monaliza shot Pedro from a distance of about a foot, about 30 centimeters, penetrating through an encyclopedia about 4 centimeters thick and putting the bullet directly into her boyfriend's chest. Realizing what she had done, Monaliza screamed and first ran out of the house, then back inside, and began calling 911. "Please hurry, he's dying," the girl screamed into the phone. And a little later, "Oh my God, I think he's dead. It looks like he's dying, ma'am, he's all blue. Please hurry." Rescuers even sent a helicopter to respond to this desperate call, but when it arrived, medics could only pronounce Pedro Ruiz dead. The pregnant Monaliza would later be charged with second-degree manslaughter of the father of her children. She will keep saying that Pedro came up with this joke, and American social media will literally explode not with sympathy for her and the deceased, but with condemnation of their stupidity and greed. However, before police forced YouTube to remove the online murder video, it had racked up 1.7 million views. Of course, there is hope that most of the people who watched it are not only mentally healthy but also sane. However, it is not excluded that this kind of fame may encourage people reckless and insane to imitate such actions. After all, in fact, these 1.7 million people allowed Monaliza to make a very nice profit from killing her boyfriend online. This video alone earned her about $6,700 per day. The result of this whole story was Monalisa's release on $7,000 bail, on the condition that for 3 years she wear a GPS bracelet on her person at all times and have no access to firearms. Her children will never see their father, and will probably live with the idea that their mother is a murderer. Pedro's family will probably curse YouTube, which in turn I'm pretty sure someone will try to repeat this stupid action. And as of today, Monaliza's channel is still up, functioning, and has 21,760 subscribers.